Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings. Welcome to another one in my Devon series. Today I'm in the town of Paignton. I've actually come here to meet up with a couple of former work colleagues. So we're meeting up for lunch. And we're going to be meeting up at a place called White Rock. But in order to get there from the station here at Paignton, I'm going to walk along the coast path, making my way to Saltern Cove, which is a triple SI place of very special scientific and geological interest. Hopefully there'll be lots of other things to see along the way. Oh, and guess what? In front of me we have a steam train on the Paignton and Dartmouth Steam Railway. So I can hope you can join me for a wander today here in wonderful Paignton. So just as Lyddon Manor disappears into the distance, heading to the resort of Kingswear, which is the other side of the River Dart, from the town of Dartmouth, which is where West Country Wanderings started, making my very first video there. That's making its way down here. I'm at the National Rail station here, which is right opposite what is known as Queen's Road. I think it's called Queen's Road or Queen's Square. That's the Heritage Line station. So the two stations are parallel to each other. They have a shed here, and I think, I'm not sure, is that a class 37 that's just sticking its yellow nose just outside of the shed. I've just come down here on a cross-country service from Bristol Temple Meads here this morning, and there's another train, is it a class 166, I think, yeah, class 166 turbo on a GWR service servicing the branch line here. Well, the Riviera line, isn't it? It's not really proper branch line, because of course it does carry on in that direction, and for actual fact, Network Rail do actually use this track further down there. Though it's a heritage line, there are some sidings a bit further down there in the direction of Goodrington Sands. Anyway, I'm going to make my way outside of the railway station now and head towards the beach area so we can pick up with the southwest coast path. Just noticed actually that Omaha locomotive, which if you're a regular viewer, you may remember the last time I made my Brixham video, which was in the autumn of last year, was being loaded onto a lorry, and I included some footage of that. And it's back again. I think it went to the Severn Valley Railway for some maintenance on it, but it's back here again on the Paignton and Dartmouth line. I'll see if I can have a closer look at that. Yes, now last time I was in Torbay, I stayed at Churston and I saw Omaha being loaded onto a low loader to take it up to Bridgnorth in Shropshire on the Severn Valley Railway. So it's amazing to catch up with again. Seeing it was pretty much the last thing I saw the last time I was here in Torbay. But we're here in Paignton today, and we're going to make our way down towards the beach to catch up with the southwest coast path. Now, the old cinema behind me here is one of the oldest cinemas in the entire United Kingdom. This cinema used to be attended by Agatha Christie when she was writing her books. When it mentions a cinema, it was based on her experiences here. It sadly closed in 2009, although the Paignton Picture House Trust have got plans to restore it. The front of it has now been cleaned and they hope to open it next year, 2025. This part of Paignton, as you head out across the level crossing from the railway station, is full of things that are catering for the tourists we have. The fans here. I don't want them in windmills, that's the ones, wasn't it? And rubber rings there. Large beach balls, all the kind of paraphernalia you'd associate with a large tourist resort. But it's not to the main beach that we're heading today, but a little further on. I'm going to take you first around to Paignton Harbour, one of my favourite parts of Paignton, and we're going to then head from there in the direction of Saltern Cove. We have a fun pirate-themed adventure park here, complete with, yes, that your eyes don't deceive you, that is blue water bubbling up through there. Not sure how I feel about that, seems a bit strange, but hey, it's all for the kids, it's all good fun. It's nice and clean here actually, and fairly quiet today. It was half term last week, this week it's not half term, so that's why I decided to head up to meet my former work colleagues who I used to work with in Brixham. One of them still works there, another one does something else entirely now, so I'm looking forward to that later. That's at 1 o'clock, so I'm heading in that rough direction now. Now these, I think Louise from Southwest Sundays pointed these out, have been completely repainted recently, these shelters. So if you've got a very wet, blustery day, but you still want to look out at the sea, you can certainly do so from those here. Now, speaking of the sea, where is it? Well, it's here. That's the beach just down there. So it's to my left, your right of the screen, I think. I always get that the wrong way round. We're heading over now to what is known as the Harbour Light. There are lots of boat trips you can do for that. Unfortunately, I won't have time for one of those today, but you can do these like fishing trips and that type of thing. And it was from Paignton Harbour that this former village started off prior to the 19th century, and of course it was the arrival of the railway and all the tourists which caused it to have this massive expansion, taking in the former little hamlets and villages, places like Goodrington and Paignton, and then now it's pretty much merged with the town of Torquay. Now looking across towards Paignton Pier, one of the oldest piers in the country. It's actually been lovely restored. It's quite similar to Teignmouth Pier, but half of that at the moment is undergoing restoration. And that, of course, is Torbay, from where this area takes its name. And on the other side there is the town of Torquay, and right out to Thatcher's Rock. And that's the entrance there to Paignton Harbour. I'm going to have a look at that at the moment. Looks like there is a boat waiting to go on a trip there at the edge of the harbour entrance. And as you can see, the tide is out and it makes these lovely wavy lines, graduations in the sand, wonderful pattern, which you can see just here. On the opposite side of the seaside side, you have these colourful hotels, including the Esplanade Hotel, the Commodore, the Sunny Beach, and the Glencoe. So this is the Harbour Light, which is a well-known pub, also the Harbour Hut, and it's the main entrance to the harbour here at Paignton, constructed by the Paignton Harbour Company in 1838, I believe. It was an act that was passed, according to the sign over there, and Stella Gale was the harbour master here from 1929 to 1941, the first female harbour master in the United Kingdom. So here we are at Paignton Harbour. So this is one of the oldest parts, but not the oldest. I might do a separate video on that if I got time towards the end of today. Show you some of the interesting old buildings in the centre of Paignton. But this was like the heart, industrial heart if you like, because this was of course the fishing and all the trade took place. I just noticed on that sign there that says that they have harbourside markets here every Sunday. It started on Easter Sunday, continuing right through this year to the end of September from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Well, it's not a Sunday today, so we need to make our way across to the coast path. Now, they still do sell fresh fish here, and I just noticed a sign there for the little Henderson's fish kiosk, which is just to my right. There's a few people around there, so I won't go film that, but you can get that. Cockles and winkles and crab and other things as well. I do like that view of the harbour from this side. There's better lighting on it. The light's wrong for looking at the sea here this morning. It's about 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, and there's our pier again, just over the other side of the harbour wall. And that boat that you saw a little bit earlier in the video that was right up to the harbour wall there, the entrance, or the exit indeed, where it says Dead Slow Out. That's now making its way towards Torquay. It looks like it's just to the right of the big wheel there in Torquay. Now at the back of the harbour, if you follow the road round, you come to this little hidden cove, which I've not actually been to before, and it's called Fairy Cove, and it's got some interesting geology. Let's go and have a closer look at that. Now what you're looking at here is Torbay Breacher. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's spelt Breccia, Breccia, I think. And these were laid down when all of this was a desert. And then the sea came over, forcing the rocks here inside what would have been the sand inside the desert. The rocks would have come from the sea. And you can see the strata layers there. An incredible bit of geology here. So it's nice and quiet. There's only a couple of other people on this beach here at Fairy Cove, just round by the harbour. Worth checking out. So it's a little bit hidden. There is one sign and then the sign disappears. And it looks like you come to a dead end and then you see the rail of some steps which takes you down into the cove. Now when I got off the train at Paignton, there was lots of hubbub with passengers there with luggage, and then you go around and see the tourists waiting to go down to Kingsbury on the steam railway. Got the level crossing with people waiting, lots of pedestrians there, and people shopping in the shopping centre. But about 10 minutes walk just the other side of the harbour, you've come to this, which is nice, peaceful and tranquil. Who would have thought it? Just 10 minutes walk from Paignton railway station and you've got it all to yourself. Wonderful. So I'm now in the beautiful Roundham Gardens. So the footpath, southwest coast path, goes through this way. Beautiful place here. Very, very enjoyable. Nice and quiet, away from all the hubbub of the town centre down there. I'm just enjoying this weather as well. It was a bit cloudy when I first left and arrived in Paignton, but now the sun has come out and we have beautiful bird song here as well. So now we're above the delightful Goodrington Sands with all their multicoloured changing huts and a beautiful stretch of red sand and a sheltered cove as well. Also some lovely gardens here at Roundham Cove. We're making our way down towards the beach and then following it along towards Saltern Cove. So here we are at Goodrington Sands with all the wonderful brightly coloured changing huts. Delightful here. It's still quite quiet because obviously we're out of a half-term period now and it's also mid-week. It's going to get a lot busier over the next few weeks so as we go into July and August. But for the moment it's just a wonderful, just strolling here by the seaside. now in Young's Park here at Goodrington. Got lots of facilities here, got toilets, got cafes, even got a boating lake with these wonderful swans on them. I don't think they're operating today though. Oh, I think it is actually. It says bumper boats, but unfortunately I don't have time to go on one, but I'll just show you that first. This is the boating lake here at Goodrington. You can see the bumper boats there. They're £5 for adults, £5 for a child, or £7 for an adult with a child. You want to have a go in that area defined there. But also down here you have the famous swan boats, and I'll just show you those. And the swan boats are £6, but that's for an entire family to have a go. One of the swans on the boating lake here at Goodrington. So next to the pub here, the Brewers Fair pub, which has a large garden right next to Goodrington Beach, you have Splashdown Key West, which is a sports facility, slides and all of that goes with it. I have to say that the beach here at Goodrington is absolutely immaculate. Although it's a mixture of fine shingle and sand, it has been cleaned this morning. You can see it's been raked and cleaned of all litter and anything like that at all. It does look very good indeed. I know that shot's been many times before. I was just walking past it, saw the railway line and the brightly coloured beach huts there. Remember that Louise from Southwest Sundays was thinking the same thing. The steam train came through, good for her. So it was great to see that. Managed to get that shot here as well today. So that was perfect timing. It couldn't have been any better just as I was walking past this section line. Incidentally, sadly, the station here is one of the newest disused station, like Churston and Greenway Help. They now all have been closed, sadly never to reopen. I won't get into the politics of that one. So I've now come to the end of Goodrington Sands Beach, and there's interesting geological formations here as well. See if I can have a closer look at that. That's the railway line that goes on down to Kingswear, the steam railway. We need to walk under there to get round to Saltern Cove though. But I'm watching my feet here because there's lots of seaweed, very, very bright green, vivid seaweed. I've never seen it so bright before. Possibly a sign of, climate change and warming seas and all of that. But yeah, so there's vast banks of it, as you can see, going right out there to where it joins the sea. Anyway, I'll have a quick look at further here, and then I'm going to head on round to Saltern Cove. The footpath here actually continues on to Broadsands, which is where I've finished my last Brixham video. I think I've done 5 videos in Brixham area where I used to work. I'll put a link to my Devon playlist at the end of this one, so if you want to have a look at the Brixham ones, if you've not already seen them, have a look at that. And I finished it. It was quite a late evening, I think, possibly in October, end of October. So I say late, it was probably earlier, wasn't it? It probably got dark around 6 or 7 when I was there, but it's a nice place. Won't have time for that today. We're going to finish the video at Saltern, but I just noticed this place would have been a really good place to watch the steam trains go past as well, with this footpath that runs parallel to the railway track. Now you get a great view of it all from up here. You can make out the beach there. There's a group of children there doing some water sports skills there. Not sure what it is. You can just see them going across the sand there. Very, very light pink sand here at Goodrington. And you can also make out the disused railway station at Goodrington Sands and the tracks that are parallel to it, which is used as temporary storage sidings by Network Rail, I do believe. There are also some carriage sidings elsewhere in Paignton as you come out. I think you can see a couple of Network Rail workers down there as well, though it is actually primarily a heritage railway. So we've now arrived at the footpath that takes us down to Saltern Cove and also Oyster Cove, which doesn't show on the map. I'm not sure about that. Broad Sands is another mile further on to the right on the southwest coast path here. And just a reminder that this part of Torbay, the English Riviera, sits in the UNESCO Global Geopark. I come across another one of those recently as well. So now on the bridge, which takes us above the railway line, the heritage line that runs down to Kingswear opposite Dartmouth. Be nice to have another train coming through at this point. So here we are, the wonderful Saltern Cove, complete with some caves. At the moment, I'm only person in the cove. You probably hear something behind me, and that's a small fishing boat. I think it's registered in Foy in Cornwall because it's got an FY register to it. This is just one. I'm going to have a quick explore here before I close the video up. I hope you're enjoying the wander here along the southwest coast path from Paignton through to Goodrington and on to Saltern Cove, as I say, which is a UNESCO World Heritage location because of the underlying geology. Just amazing to think all those years ago this would have been a boiling hot desert and then completely flooded underneath the sea. Incredible stuff. Now you notice that the underlying rock here at Saltern Cove is quite different to what we saw at Goodrington and at the start at Paignton. Whereas at the breccia sandstone beds were nice, flat and even, you can see here it's been mixed with something else. And that mix is of course a slate bedrock, so you have a much finer definition to the underlying strata. And not only that, it's cracked in a vertical plane several times as well. You have an interesting overhang here. I'm not going to go right underneath that bit there, as you can see, but you can see the fault lines going across it, but also cracks as well, because as we know, slate can be quite brittle. Slate and the sandstones and the clays are most obvious here. We can see the grey mixing in with the light coloured pinks of the sandstone. Now we're still at Saltern Cove, but I'm now come to the opposite side of the cove. I know the colour hasn't changed on the film, digital film. This is the colour of the rock on the opposite side. And you can see at the top there of the cliff, it's actually been mixed with something else, and that is a marl. And just outside Goodrington there were once several marl pits. So just scanning across, there's like our deeper red on that side of the cove. And just spinning you around now, there's Brixham Headland out towards Berry Head there, which we've covered a few times now. And there's the other side of Saltern Cove, where the rocks are a much more of a pinkish hue mixed with that slate rather than the marl that we have behind me. Now these rocks are known as the Meadfoot group. They're some 450 million years old, formed when mud and sand lay on the bottom of a warm shallow sea. Once on this side, some 385 million years ago, or once on the bed of a deep Devonian sea. And on the right of the screen here you can see some limestone outcrop mixing in with the muddy red sandstone. Possibly this was caused through earthquake activity millions of years ago. Well, that's it for today here on West Country Wanderings and one of my Devon series, from Paignton to Goodrington to Saltern Cove. Wonderful, beautiful coastal area. Once you get away from the hubbub of Paignton, that's not really my sort of thing, that kind of seaside resort, but if you do like it, it's a great place because you can It's a great place. It's quite a reasonable place to come and stay as well. So Louise did a review of a hotel in Paignton not that long ago, so I'll see if I can link to that one at the end of this video as well. Hope you've enjoyed it today. Hope to see you again on West Country Wandering soon. All the best for now. Bye bye.